anybody else joining? Okay, we ready?
We're ready.
All right, so call to order, just gonna show that for the minutes that members Lynn Werner, Marge Smith, Ken Johnson, and Anthony Palumbo are here. What I'm always trying to remember, Anthony, and forgive me, are you a full-time, full-on member, or are you a Ty? Do you remember? Or is Anthony?
He's an alternate still.
So we're just gonna need to make a motion to move him up. So we'll add that. Actually, we could do that now.
So
Appointment of alternates.
making a motion to elevate Anthony.
Thank you.
And do we have any communication about whether Jeff Galusha is going to be appointed to the commission?
We
has
should
been-
wait until we get to that on the agenda.
Oh, I didn't see it on the agenda. I'm sorry.
It's not, but we can talk about it under new
Okay.
or, old business. Yeah,
That's fine. I just
Okay.
want to make sure we would get to it.
yes, I wrote that down too.
Okay.
Okay, so I second that motion and we just need to say all in favor. Aye.
All in favor? Aye.
I don't think it actually requires a motion. I think it just requires my appointment, but we're covering our bases, so. Okay, did everybody have a chance to read the minutes? And I found two little typos, no big deal. I have to say, Ty, before anybody else speaks, you or Donna, whoever is doing the minutes is doing an amazing job.
It's Donna.
Absolutely. I agree.
Really well done.
Thank you.
But I did
Looks like
find
a-
two little things too. So Lynn, you go first.
Well, my first one was on page 4.
Okay, nope, that's not one of mine.
Do you have one before that?
I had one on page 3.
Okay, what's that?
On the 4th paragraph, at the end of the first line, it says root-based. It should be, I think, the root, I just lost my minutes, but I've got my notes. It says root-based, but that it's talking about the root space system.
Okay. I can't find it though. You're on page 3.
On page
Join the
3,
meeting.
it's the 4th paragraph. The sentence, the line ends with root-based. If you're
Got
counting, okay,
And that should say instead,
root space.
Hello.
Hi, who's the unidentified person?
It's me, Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Aha,
Paul who?
Yeah.
You only have one on the committee.
Yay, good. Well, I didn't
There
know.
you
Are you
go.
Paul? Okay. All right. So let the minutes reflect that Paul Yeaget has just joined and we're going through, thank you for joining, and we're going through the minutes.
Yep.
And we found one little correction on page 3. I've got one on page 4 unless Marge has one before that, another one. So on page 4, under 5B, first paragraph, second line, it says, Mr.
Yeah.
Peters said that he had received 2 Ms. Kern's request. I think that means he either had responded to
Yes.
or received. Not sure what you meant there.
Okay. Yeah, I see what
Probably
it-
responded
it's saying
to.
there.
Okay, so why don't we change that? And then Marge, my next one is on page 6. Do you have another one before that?
yep, I've got one on page 5.
You're making it.
Page 5, under 5D, is it on page 5?
Yeah.
Or is it the next? Wait a minute, maybe it is page 6. It is page 6, so you go ahead, Lynn.
It was just the second
Okay.
paragraph, first line, Mr. Yeaget, how
Yep,
large the trees?
That was mine as well. Yeah.
Not sure what that meant either. Mr. Yeaget asked
Asked,
how
must be
large the
asked.
trees? Yeah. That's
How
probably,
large
So
were the
add
trees that
asked.
declined?
do you agree, Paul?
So
that
I'm
you
gonna
asked?
add the word asked.
Yeah, Mr. Yeaget asked
Okay.
how large the trees declined were.
Okay, great. And that's all I had. Do you have any more, Marge?
Nope,
Paul? Anthony
Nope.
or Ken?
No.
So we just need a motion to accept the minutes with those little minor changes. I hate even bringing them up because these minutes are really so
I-
exceptionally well done.
I second that emotion.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
I,
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Okay, great. Thank you. And thanks for a job well done.
really good.
All
yeah.
right, so we are now on to old business. Application 1323-23, Stephen Peters. This was the propane tank and pipeline We had asked for wetland delineation information, and we had also said if any, commissioner wanted to go and visit the site, they could go on their own time. Did anybody go?
I did not.
All
Okay.
right.
Oh, let the record show that Ken
Well,
Dees has joined also. Sorry. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Paul.
I drive by there a lot, going into Macedonia, for hikes and everything. And I could see the area, it's a tight area to work with. I didn't actually get out and walk up there, but you could see everything, right from the road, looking up the driveway and the area, he was talking about. And it doesn't seem like there's, a convenient place to put it, except, where he's stating that he does want to put it.
Right. Okay. And did we get the wetland info, Ty?
Yes, and could I just note that Mr. Peters came in today and updated and amended his application. The last plan you had on record for him, there had been an update since then. So I don't know if you remember, we talked a little bit about that, that patio in the back and the partial deck. So we talked after the last meeting and realized that the most updated plan had not been submitted. So he came in today and amended his application just to include that deck and patio, which you guys at the last meeting didn't seem to have any concerns with anyways.
Right.
But now it's on record and the new latest and greatest plan is on record. I did upload both of those
Oh,
things
okay, I see it.
to the public drive, but it's not terribly significant, but we're up to date with everything now.
That's
Good.
great. And you feel comfortable with that?
Yes.
Okay. So does anybody have any questions on the new info that's been submitted?
No, I'm looking at it, but. And I agree with Paul just from driving by there. I don't think there's any alternative. I remember that property from way back, so.
Okay. I think we had kind of felt that way last, when we met last time.
Mhm.
Sorry. I got bit by a horsefly and it is just swelling up my hand.
Oh, Lynn,
Well, that's what happens to me.
don't do that.
Okay, so if there are no questions and if everything is on record accurately now, it sounded like from our last conversation, we were ready to approve this unless something popped with the wetlands information or, well, basically that. So if there is no further discussion, do we have a motion to approve application 1323-23?
So
moved.
moved.
I move.
Go ahead, Ken.
Okay, so who moved? Was that Paul?
Yeah.
And then Mark
Three of us
seconded?
did.
Or was that Ken? Who was that?
Ken
I'll
Johnson.
claim it. I'll claim it.
Ken is claiming it and Paul is seconding? Okay,
Yeah, sure.
okay, great. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I,
Opposed?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention? Okay. All in favor? We're good. Thank you. Okay,
Thank you.
so you're good to go. And thank you very much for working with us, Stefan, on getting everything that we needed in order
Well,
to.
thank you
approve
for
that.
working with me, for sure. I really appreciate it.
Sure, I'm sure we'll see you again at some point. All for good reasons. Thanks, Stefan.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. We're on application 1324-23. This one seemed good to go in our last conversation, but I just wondered if there was any additional information, Ty, that you wanted to bring before us.
Oh, nothing new. I don't see it. Oh, maybe somebody is here to represent today. But yeah, I mean, at the last meeting, it seemed like you guys were pretty familiar. Most of you were familiar with the property, and I indicated that this was probably a really good solution to some issues.
And I think Marge did too, because she walked the property all the time. Is there anybody here from the Northwest Land Conservancy?
Nope.
No. Okay. Well, given that, then I think we're ready to take a motion for 1324-23.
I'll make a motion to approve application 1324-23.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I second.
Thanks, Ken Johnson. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I,
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Okay, great. All right. And now we are moving on to application 1325-23. Robert and Jane Harrison, you guys are here. Are you guys here? Oh, yes, thank you. And we had talked a little bit about trying to understand exactly what would be removed and replanted and whether or not there's any conservation easements affected by what you want to do. We got a pile of new information, all of which looks terrific. But can you, I noticed on the application that it says there are no easements in the area that you want to work. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, we looked at the map with Ty. Actually, there are conservation easements on the property itself, but not in that proposed area.
Great, thank you, Carrie. Are there other, there was a lot of information provided about what you were thinking about doing for replanting. Could you just quickly walk us through what you're proposing to do?
Sure.
Thank you.
We're proposing to replant an area that's roughly 1,000 square feet. And what we'd like to do is do a combination of herbaceous plants as well as some shrubs and some smaller trees. And we do have a list of some suggested plants. And I think in that packet that we provided you with, there is also a list.
Yes.
Right.
Is
So
that the list that you're proposing?
we'd like to draw from that list. What we have right now is, let's see.
We
For-
have 3 saplings, 10 shrubs, and 4 herbaceous plants that we were going to include in that area. And that would include the saplings would be Circes canadensis, eastern redbud, 2 pagoda dogwood, and then shrubs would be winterberry, inkberry holly, and summer sweet. So we'll have 10. I mean, we could go through the specific numbers if you want. We also have a planting plan that we could share with you visually if you'd like to see it.
Actually, what you might want to do is submit it as part of your application.
Yeah.
And amend this to include that planting plan, because that's typically what we'd ask for.
Right.
Does that make sense, Ty?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like we had a decent handle on what they were going to do, but we can add that to the file, definitely.
Okay,
Yeah.
And in terms of the planting plan itself, some of it will have to be varied depending on what we come across when we actually get in there. What we'd
Sure.
like to do is
We
make sure we're
understand.
maintaining,
Yeah.
yeah, so there's cranberry viburnum in there already. There's Ilex verticillata, and if we come across more of them, obviously that will shift the planting plan around.
Marge, what do you think about that?
Yeah. I like the list. I think that makes perfect sense.
Any other commissioners have any questions? This seemed to be kind of part of the major discussion last time. Ken Dietz or Paul or Ken Johnson or Anthony?
I want to make sure I'm on
No,
the
I-
right page. If this is, we're talking about the 69 Treasure Hill?
That's right. Mhm.
Yes, okay. No, I have no questions.
Paul?
Yeah, I mean, last time we just weren't clear with, what was coming out, what was going in. And I think, now that we know that there's going to be some replanting, I think that answered, a lot of questions that I had.
Yeah. Ken Dietz?
I wasn't here last week or last
Okay.
month rather, so I'm just kind of listening in on what everyone else's issues were, but it seems like everyone that had a more in-depth conversation is satisfied.
Hi, do you have what you need to kind of work with the landowners going forward?
Yes, yeah, last time the application came in a little bit late, so it was a little bit incomplete, but they've done a lot of work to make it more complete, and yeah, it's a good application now.
Yeah,
Okay.
that looks good. I'm just
Mhm.
scrolling through it again.
Okay. Is there
Yeah.
anything else that any of you want to add to this discussion? Okay, then it sounds like we might be
Yeah,
ready.
actually, I think I would.
Okay, go ahead.
while we were just discussing the plantings that were going in, you brought up that depending upon the conditions that you find there, you may have to change some of the plantings or some of the way you're going to be doing it. And if that's the case, I think it would just help if that we were notified. Not that I would have to go for another hearing, but this way we're aware if there is any changes of, what is actually happening there.
Yeah,
Sure. It's really just in terms of the number of perennials that we'll need, the placement of the shrubs, that type of thing. I don't really anticipate that there would be any, any other changes other than that.
Okay.
but with those
Yeah.
changes, letting Ty know as
Mhm.
you're moving through the process so that if she has any concerns, she can raise them. And then if you have any concerns, we can have another conversation if we need it.
Sure.
That ongoing
absolutely.
conversation is a good best management practice, I think, for us.
Mhm.
That's a good point. Thanks, Paul. Anything
I,
else?
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm looking at one of these drawings of the property. And it's titled at the bottom, 69 Treasure Hill Road, Woodland Invasive Control. Do you have that
Yep.
piece?
Hmm.
And now there are quite a few trees in this area of disturbance here. Are all those trees going to remain there?
That's a good question. So we do propose removing some of the dead trees, and we have Russell Plum here of Sawing High Climbers, and he can speak a little bit to that.
Hey, good evening, everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. So yeah, what we're proposing is just removal of 8 dead trees. There's a couple of ash, the 1 or 2 black cherries. One of the willows is falling apart. So we'll just be extracting them out of there.
And that's it,
Yeah.
just the dead or damaged trees?
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
leaving the stone?
And we'll be approaching it from the house side of the spinney as well. I don't believe we're going to have to go between the pond and the spinney as such, but if we did, we'd be using a lot of plyboard so we don't disturb or compact the soil.
If
But I
you're
don't-
gonna- if you're going to have to do that, you would alert Ty, correct?
Sure, but I think more than likely we're going to extract it all from the house side, and then we can set up blocks in some of the live trees and cradle pieces of wood out of that swale.
But if that changes, you would alert Ty.
Yeah. Yep.
Ken, do you have other questions around that, or does that answer your question?
Well, let me put it this way. How many trees are going to be left behind? Can you tell me that?
Maybe 30, 40 trees. There's a substantial amount in there.
Okay. That's
Maybe the
That's
better
good.
question is how many trees do you think you'll be removing? And it sounds like a half a dozen. 8? Okay.
Yeah.
So 8
I'm
trees
happy.
coming out. Ken.
That's
I'm
correct.
happy with that.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions for Russell?
Nope.
No.
Okay. Okay, any other questions at all on the application?
Nope.
And if not, are we ready to make a motion?
Sure.
And if so, we need someone to make one.
I have to find the number. As soon as I can find the number, I'll make the motion.
1325
I got it. Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve application 1325-23 with all of the additional information and plans that was submitted for this meeting
And this conversation, right?
and this conversation. Yes.
Great. Thank you. We need a second.
I second.
Thanks, Ken. Johnson. Any further discussion? Okay, if not, all in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Thanks. Opposed or abstention? Okay, thanks you guys for working with us on this and providing us with the additional information. Russell, thank you for being here tonight as well. We appreciate the extra effort and good luck. And please stay in touch with Ty as you move ahead if you run into anything that needs to be modified.
Will do. I
Okay.
appreciate it.
I just want to also thank you, everyone, for approving this. We are very grateful, and we're looking forward to working with you in the future on any other plans that we may have for the property. But our goal is to just make this beautiful and natural and get rid of the invasive species. And we are thrilled that we're working with Chimney Rock and with Russell on the project, and thank you guys for approving it.
Well, thank you for working with us so that we can get to this place, and we appreciate it. We appreciate your intent. Our intent is all about protecting the water and the wetlands. So sounds like we have mutually agreeable goals. So that's good. Thank you very much, you guys.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, we're ready to move on to new business, which do we still have none?
None.
Okay, and then I think under communications to the commission, if we have no written, we can go right to verbal and talk about Jeff Galusha and
Yeah.
what happened.
Yeah, so, upon your recommendation, he was appointed by the Board of Selectmen at their last meeting.
Great.
However, I've reached out to him twice and he has not yet come in to Darlene to get sworn in. I do understand that he's just recently moved here and has a new job that he's kind of probably getting comfortable in and maybe just hasn't had the opportunity to do it yet. He did not reach out tonight about this meeting, but I did talk to him last week and he said he would be into Darlene soon, so.
I saw him 2 days ago and he was over at South Kent School. He was running around like crazy, but he said he was looking forward to being a part of it and was hoping he could be at the meeting tonight. So I wonder, he has responded to you at least once, so you've got the right email address.
Oh,
Ty?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
no, I reached out
Okay.
to him the second time and he said, he apologized for not making
Okay.
it, but he was going to get in touch with Darlene, but Darlene did contact me today. Actually from Rhode Island, she was at the beach and she said that Jeff had not come in yet and she just wanted us to know so that he
Okay.
wasn't seated because he hadn't been sworn in, but she's available to do it anytime. She was willing to do it today by phone, but I'm like, I think we'll have a forum. So we just got to get them in and I have a package in the office, with the regulations and all the information to get him started or back at it again. So whenever he's ready.
All right, well, if
Well,
I
that's
see him,
really great news.
if I
Thank
s-
you.
If I see him at school, I'll give him a nudge.
Marge,
Good.
thank you so much for bringing him forward to exploring it with him.
Yeah. It was
that is-
somewhat his idea. I mean, he really wanted to get involved in the town again and he enjoyed being on this commission years
Oh.
ago. So
That's awesome. Really terrific. Yeah.
he's looking forward to it. He's just, in the middle of moving on to campuses, just a lot of, well, he's not moving on to campus because his wife teaches at Kent School.
Oh.
But it's just a crazy time, but
I'm sure it is. And couple that with people really going on vacation, maybe for the first summer in
Mhm.
3 years. And, it's
Yep.
just, it
Yep.
is what it is, but
Yep.
we'll look forward to welcoming.
Good.
him
all
aboard.
right, I'll track him down too.
Okay. Now, people, it is literally 7:26 and I have the honor of saying, let us go enjoy the evening. And thank you
Yeah,
all.
it's been a long time since we had one of these.
It
Yeah,
surely
Nice.
has. I
This
think
is
we've
record
earned it.
time.
We've earned it. We've earned it. We've earned it. And I hope everybody has a great evening and we'll see you next month in March. I know I owe you a date and
Yeah, you do.
I do. And when we get together, you'll understand why, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, no, I'm not pushing. I'm not pushing.
All right. All right. Anything else? Anybody else wants to say at the moment?
nope.
Okay, then. Everybody go be free and have fun.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
Have a
Thank
great
you. Good night, all.
night.
Thank
Thanks,
you all.
guys.
Bye.
Good
Thank you,
night.
Have a
Good night.
Donna.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Stay well.
You too.
Bye.